Hey YouTube, this is Billy Eat World, and today we're talking about whether it's worth buying Battlefield 4 on the current gen consoles. Now, as you may know, as of October 30, BF4 has actually already been released, which is kind of confusing considering the next gen consoles are only about a month or two away. I think there's a couple of really important reasons for this. Not everyone is going to actually buy a next gen console as soon as they're released. In fact, not many people are probably going to buy them in the first 6 months. New consoles always have issues, and sometimes it's just a better idea to wait until there's a lot more good games, there's more technical support available, and a lot of the bugs have been ironed out. As everyone would already know, Xbox 360 had a lot of issues for the first couple of years. So the question is, if you're not willing to take the plunge and buy a next-gen console straight away, do you buy Battlefield 4 now on the current-gen consoles and upgrade later on? Well, I've actually bought BF4 for PS3, so I thought we'd walk through some of the reasons why I think it is or isn't worth buying. Now, obviously, there's going to be a huge difference between the current-gen console versions and the next-gen console versions. There's also going to be a few differences between the next-gen console versions and the PC version, but we're not going to get into that because if you're like me and you enjoy console gaming, then the PC really shouldn't be brought into the equation. The biggest difference between BF4 and the current-gen consoles compared to the next-gen consoles is the fact that the game's going to be running at a lower frame rate. On current-gen systems, it's only running at 30 frames per second, compared to 60 frames per second on the next-gen consoles. This is the same problem that Battlefield 3 had, and unfortunately it's just a necessity to actually make it run on the platform. What this is going to mean is that on the next-gen systems, the game is going to run a lot smoother, and you're probably going to have a much more enjoyable experience. If you're already used to playing Battlefield 3 on the current-gen systems though, you're probably not going to notice a huge difference. I put about 500 hours into Battlefield 3 on the current-gen systems, and I'm not going to lie, it probably would have been a better experience on the PC, but I'm not complaining, I had fun, and that's why I put in 500 hours. Another big difference is the fact that the graphics just don't look as good on the current gen systems. Once again, it doesn't look any worse than Battlefield 3 did on the current gen systems, so if you're used to playing that game a lot, you're probably not going to have a big problem with it. Unfortunately, the current gen consoles are also only going to allow 24 players on a server. The next gen consoles and the PC actually allow up to 64. The biggest downside to this is that unfortunately some of the maps have had to be scaled down. I'm not talking about every map, but definitely some of the larger ones aren't anywhere near as big as they could have been. Some vehicles are missing and certain areas of the map just aren't accessible. But once again we come back to the fact that Battlefield 3 was exactly the same. You can sort of see the trend that's appearing here. If you've already played Battlefield 3 on the current gen systems, you're going to be getting the same level of graphics, the same amount of players, but ultimately you're going to be playing a better game. Now, if that was all that was different between the current gen systems and the next gen systems, then you could probably be forgiven for not wanting to upgrade at all. But I will say that occasionally there are frame drops which bring the frame rate under 30 frames per second. This could be because the game's only been out for a few days and really it could be patched to a greater extent. But it is kind of annoying when it happens. Fortunately, it doesn't happen a lot and it doesn't last for very long. The good news out of all of this is if you do actually want to upgrade to a PS4 or an Xbox One copy later on down the track, you won't have to pay very much to do it if you already have a PS3 or Xbox 360 copy. Most likely you're only going to have to pay $10 to $15 to get an upgraded copy, but unfortunately you're going to have to do that before the end of March 2014. For those of you who care about stats, the good thing is that they're going to transfer as well. Another benefit for not upgrading straight away is that if you're like me and you already play PS3, you're not going to have to pay for a PSN subscription to play online. This will at least save you a few dollars to go towards buying that PS4 when you finally do decide to take the plunge. Anyway guys, thanks heaps for watching. I hope this video helps you make your decision on whether to buy Battlefield 4 for the current gen systems or whether to wait a little bit until the next gen systems come out. Either way, I don't think there is a right or a wrong answer. BF4 is a great game whether it be on the current gen systems or the next gen systems, so I'm sure whatever version you do pick up is going to be worthwhile. If you like what you see, please like, comment and subscribe. I've been working on a ton of Battlefield 4 videos and a lot of other stuff as well, so stay tuned, I'll be back in the next few days with some more videos.